this is Rosetta. She's our kitten. She's gonna be our mouser. Keep the mice out of the house. Her mama's a good mouser, so she should be too. We got her from my in-laws. Pretty kitty. So today we are going to tackle homemade Runzas. I'm not native to Nebraska. I've lived here long enough to know that this is a signature Nebraska food. People from Nebraska usually love Runzas, and other people are like, what is that? I've had a few Runzas in my time here, and the homemade one I had at my mother-in-law's was the best one I've ever tasted, so we're going to try that today. This recipe is from my farmhouse table, and I'll link it if anyone's interested in trying this. But I wanted to check the recipe because it calls for 4 cups of cabbage chopped. So now we have to go out to the garden and see what cabbage we can come up with. It is such a beautiful morning. We are out here with the cabbage that I planted this spring, and it should have been picked a while ago. We're going to try to salvage what we can. I think this one looks pretty good. Definitely going to have to cut it carefully and watch for worms. Definitely don't want any worms in our food. My kids would never eat it again. That one could be a good one. And here's a little one that looks pretty good. This one looks good too. I think we're gonna find some cabbage. So I think I got what I needed for our recipe. There's some that are definitely not edible for us, but these girls will love them. So we're gonna give it to them. And the babies too. So this is the cabbage I chose, and we're just going to make this work for our recipe. That we are certain we have enough cabbage, this is 4 cups and maybe a little bit more, we can proceed with the rest of the recipe. I feel confident that there's no bugs in this part. When you peeled away enough leaves, you got to pretty good stuff in the middle, so this will work great for our recipe. The next thing we're going to do is mix up our dough to go on the outside of the Runzas. Okay, so now that we have our dough rising, it says it needs to rise for about an hour, we are going to do our filling. So here are Runzas ready to go in the oven. We have 6 of them plain and 6 of them with cheese. I know my husband doesn't like the cheese. I know I do like the cheese. I don't really know what the kids like because I cannot remember if they've ever had a Runza. So this will be a fun experiment. I can tell that the ones I started with are already raising a little bit. The recipe doesn't call to let them raise at all. So we'll just put them in the oven for, I think it said 18 to 20 minutes until golden brown. So we'll see how they come out. The Runzas look wonderful. I'm not going to cut one open until my family gets back. They're picking blooms off the strawberry plants right now while I worked on lunch. But we will cut them open when they get here to eat lunch. And then in addition to this, I am making pico de gallo with our garden produce. And they will be bringing me some cilantro from the garden when they come back. They look pretty good to me. So here's our lunch. We have our homemade Runza. It has cheese in it. There's a gap, but I don't think anything's wrong with that. This might have been one of the end ones where there wasn't as much meat. We got strawberries from the garden. We got our pico with chips to eat it with. So I'm excited. For lunch, our family of 5 ate 1.5 of the regulars and 2 of the ones with cheese. So that was 3.5 total. And my youngest wouldn't even try them, which doesn't surprise me. She doesn't like the texture of onions, and cabbage looks like onions in there, so it doesn't surprise me she didn't try it. And then my pico that I made is almost entirely gone. That is definitely a hit around here. And we ate most of the strawberries as well. So it was a good lunch. Okay, so yesterday I was just super curious about my sweet potatoes, so I went ahead and I pulled one of the plants. Now, this part was above the ground and something has nibbled on it and eaten it. That's why it looks like that. But we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 good-sized sweet potatoes from one plant. And sweet potatoes need higher temperatures in order to cure properly, around 85 degrees, and it's going to be warm the next few days. And so because they're already so big and look so healthy, I think we're just going to go pull the rest of them. These are the sweet potatoes that we are going to pull. They've expanded way outside their row. Very healthy. are the sweet potatoes that have spots on them, no good spots. So we separated them. We'll be more careful about them when they're done curing, to look them over real good and see if they're worth saving or not. And the ones that are will get eaten first. And then these over here are the ones that are good. So there's no spots on these, no rotten spots or missing spots. They're just here to cure in this dark shed for a few days while it's warm. And then we will sell some at the stand and we'll put the rest in winter storage.